Okay, we're live.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, hey, Sports, episode number 7. And we don't want you to forget about Aurelio's Pizza from the south side of Chicago, actually in the burbs, Homewood, Illinois, the original, because it's the sauce. And I'm telling you, go in there, get the sausage pizza, try to have them cook it in the original oven if necessary. So, and again, we are not sponsored by Aurelio's, and they don't give us any money, but if you're in the south suburbs, Aurelio's Pizza, it's the sauce. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we want to today touch upon, talk about the Hawks and their schedule. Jack will lead up with that, and then we will start talking about the Bears and their signings. The Cubs won today, so first game after the All-Star break. We'll talk about some potential trade deadlines, and and we're going to go in a little bit deep. If you're anti-Missouri football, actually, as we're anti-SEC football, but we're going to try to enlighten you a little bit about the fallacies of the University of Missouri football. But again, the NHL schedule just came out, and my assistant here will enlighten you in the Hawks schedule.
For the 2025, going into 2026 NHL schedule, opening day in general is October 7th versus Florida. That game will be on ESPN against the Stanley Cup champions. Home opener versus Montreal, original 6 matchup. That will be the next week on October 11th. It will be the 100th anniversary of the Chicago Blackhawks franchise lore. So get your tickets. Good seats available.
There's good seats available, but the Hawks still sell out, and they are $225 a ticket, and they are, they're a long ways away. Okay. They're a long ways away.
I think Kyle Davidson is in over his head as acting general manager for the Chicago Blackhawks. I think they got to get somebody else in there who's not a yes man, but I don't know.
Until you stop the puck, you need a goalie.
Well, they claim they got one.
Okay.
We're going to find out.
All right.
I don't know how good Spencer Knight's going to be.
And I see no reason with expansion and moving around and salary caps and hard salary caps in the NHL that in an 82-game schedule.
Because now they're going to go to 84, so that means more money.
And, to be in the top 8 in the Western Conference, I don't see it.
What do you think about shaking up the divisions then? Because the Blackhawks are in the Western Conference, but the Bulls are in the Eastern Conference, but they both play in the same building. And the Red Wings are in the East. The Rangers are in the East. Boston and Toronto are in the East.
But you're dividing the amount of teams you have somewhere along the line.
But they're going to want to expand soon anyway. So
they can't expand.
They already did.
They can't expand again. Again, I'm tired. I limit my hockey talk to if you do not have any damn snow, you should not have a hockey franchise. So I'm not following anything but the original 6
or a Canadian team
or the Canadian teams. I don't care about Florida and Arizona and Vegas and San Jose and Los Angeles. I don't care. I don't follow those people, and I'm not going to follow those people. Okay? And it's original 6 or Canadian teams. That's it. Minnesota might weasel your way in there. Buffalo, those Northeasts. But
how do you think Winnipeg's going to do with the return of Jonathan Toews?
Jonathan Toews is not going to make a difference. Okay? He's not going to score 60 goals. He's going to put bodies in the seats.
He's been gone for 2 years. I wonder how good he's going to be.
He's going to put bodies in the seats. It's going to be like a Clayton Kershaw thing. Clayton Kershaw has been irrelevant until he got very close to the 3,000 strikeouts. Then all of a sudden, every Dodger game was on ESPN. He got his 3,000 strikeout. Now my question is, after he's got this 3,000 strikeout, how much is he going to pitch between now and the playoffs?
Very good question. Or maybe if he ever pitches in the playoffs.
So, and he may not be one of the 4 pitchers that are in the playoffs. Again, pawns. These are pawns. Taves is a pawn. Okay? Kershaw is a pawn. Pujols was a pawn.
Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh is a pawn.
All right, so, that's it. And the Hawks hopefully have a season. Their preseason's going on. Hope for the best. But with the schedules released, and from time to time, we will update you on the Blackhawk stuff as well. Okay, so. Next on the agenda is the Bears and the nonsense. First of all, if you're a second-round pick, and I hope I got to get his name right, okay, Ozzie Trapulio. And if you happen to be listening to this, Ozzie, you are a second-round pick in the NFL. You have accomplished something that a handful of people have ever done. Yet, up until a couple of days ago, you were bitching about second-round money to play 17 games. Going to work 17 days. That's it. 1 game a week. And you were bitching about, and you have been basically anointed a starting role on a football team, the football team, one of the 2 founding NFL teams in the history of the NFL, and you are bitching about second-round money. Sign the contract and go on. That's it. Period. Okay?
He's not the only one on the Chicago Bears team.
He's not the only one. He's not the only second-round pick that went through this whole thing.
No, he's not. However...
Okay, but... you signed, and you're in a position where the Bears need you.
That's the thing that really angers me. You're on a team that I know everyone's getting all high and gung-ho over, but their offensive line is still very questionable at best, even with all the moves that they did. And as you said, they need him. And for him, in his rookie season, not to even do anything, to just say, you know what, hey, I don't like this. This is the way how we're going to do it. No.
You want the money or you want to play for the Bears?
Who the hell are you?
Okay.
Who the hell do you think you are? Seriously.
And now
Seriously, who do you think you are?
That kind of rolls into the next thing here that we're going to spend a little more time. But he did sign, okay?
Why don't you stop somebody?
Okay. There's a new malcontent out there, okay? Luther Burden III. I want to make sure that I got the name right, okay? And he's got as he said on an interview, I got a chip on my shoulder because I was not a first-round draft pick, and I'm going to prove everybody wrong. Okay?
You have the floor.
Luther, I expect that from you because you come from the University of Missouri football. How good is University football, Missouri football? Okay? We're led to believe that you're in the SEC. I did a little bit of research. You haven't even been in the SEC for 20 years.
As a team.
As a team, because I got some 2007 statistics when Missouri was still in the Big 12. Okay? But Luther Burden III is chirping a lot. And I'm going to clue you in on this thing, Luther. DJ Moore's going to get more looks. Roma Doomsday's going to get more looks. Komet's going to get more looks. And their first-round draft pick
at the tight end's position
is going to get more looks.
Yep.
So if you think that you're going to lace them up and be Jerry Rice and that The other Wonder Boy should be throwing to you all the time like you're playing sandlot ball. Go to the Subaru and do a button hook and I'll throw it to you. You're crazy. That ain't happening. Okay? You got a chip on your shoulder. Okay, have a chip on your shoulder.
But you were the 5th wide receiver selected.
Very good point. You were the 5th wide receiver selected in the whole draft.
You were a 2nd rounder. You were the 5th one selected.
So
you're in the top 10 at your position.
So other people passed on you as well. Okay? So you got to be just, if I may use the word, pissed at the entire NFL and every organization. Okay? You know. And if you turn out to be like other Missouri football players, your career is going to be limited at best.
Most of them, you see, Missouri football has never really pumped out real great, prominent NFL athletes.
Yeah. You know, I hear how great Missouri this, Missouri that, Missouri this, Missouri that.
Yeah.
You know, the University of Illinois, who gets ragged on for football, and I ragged on them prior to the Bielema days.
Same here.
Okay. They've won 5 national championships. Okay? And I had to prove that to some other meathead who didn't believe that. 5 national championships. You could go to the University of Illinois in Memorial Field and you can see the national championships on display. They're there. Okay? The University of Missouri, and I'm going to even check my notes here, okay, have not won a national champion per se. Okay. In 2007, they lost their last regular season game to Kansas. But Kansas had an ineligible player. Missouri won by forfeiture. And the polling service of that year, the polling service gave the national championship to the University of Missouri. Now, the polling service is nothing compared to the AP, the UPI, the coaches poll. There were 6 other polls that particular year, and they gave the national championship to the University of Mississippi. Okay. So, in the big picture, Missouri has never won a national championship.
A true national championship.
A true national championship. Okay. They have also, I believe in that year, no, it is correct, that they won the north of the Big 12. Let me repeat that, the Big 12, not the SEC. They have done squadouche in the SEC.
You could say that for a lot of teams in the SEC.
We'll go into that in a few minutes. But they got waxed. They played Oklahoma twice that year. I'm going to go to my notes here. In the championship game between the North and the South that year, they got waxed by Oklahoma 38-17, and they lost to Oklahoma also in regular season, head-to-head. And also in that particular year, they tied in the North to the University of Kansas. Okay? But that was the last game when Kansas had the illegal player. So if you want to say one guy made a difference of an entire football team, go right ahead. But in reality, those 11 of Kansas beat the piss out of Missouri. Okay?
Final score was 27-7.
Right. So I'm tired of hearing how good Missouri football. Who I should have looked it up. The quarterback years ago, I had a bet with some guy. They said that guy was going to be. He's still hanging around. I think he was with Denver. That he was going to be a top 10 pick.
What Missouri quarterback has come out, and I'm going to come out swinging here. Name me a Missouri NFL quarterback, or better yet, name me an SEC NFL quarterback in recent years, or in the last 50 years, to really come out and be.
Don't overstate that. Joe Burrow.
Okay, that's one guy.
Dak Prescott.
Okay.
Okay.
And the Dallas Cowboy fans don't like Dak Prescott.
As a college one, Tebow.
And what did he do in the NFL?
Did he beat your boy Mike Tomlin?
In a playoff
game.
In a playoff game.
Once again, how good is Mike Tomlin as a coach?
No, but look at Alabama. Richard Todd,
Okay.
Joe Namath.
You know, I mean, and Chase Daniels was a Missouri.
Eastern Illinois, Tony Romo, Jimmy Garoppolo, the entire Shanahan family, Sean Payton.
Okay, and we'll stop it right there.
And they go play Alabama. And you want to talk, in the SEC and the Paul Feinbaums of the world, want to talk to me about strength of schedule. Come on.
And that's what we're going to lead into right now. This nonsense of, and staying with Missouri, the University of Missouri has the easiest SEC schedule. So this nonsense, and the SEC people bang their drum and go, you know how many playoff teams we got? How many bowl games?
You need to win 6 bowl games, and you play 4 non-conference teams.
You need to win 6 regular season games. Okay? 6 regular season games to get into a bowl game. And the SEC is the only conference that has 4 non-conference opponents. That means you only need to win 2 within your conference. If you run the table in non-conference and you win 2 conference games, when I went to school, 4 plus 2 equals 6. You get an opportunity to go to a bowl game.
And who's Alabama's final game of the season?
Alabama's final game of the season is against the University, Eastern Illinois University.
That's the last game of the season.
November 22nd. That's the last game of the season.
Of the regular season.
So they'll already know whether they're going to the playoff or whatever.
A bowl game. So what that means is Eastern Illinois University, that game is a tune-up game.
Eastern's going down there to play the 3rd and 4th and 5th string and walk-ons.
But if you're Alabama and your practice squad is better than everybody else, why do you need a tune-up game?
Okay. Now people will say, well, let's go check the Big Ten's non-conference schedule. Okay, but they're not. But the Big Ten plays 3.
And when I went to school, 4 was bigger than 3.
So the Big Ten has to win within 3 in their conference. Now people will say that the SEC conference is, and I don't like to include Oregon and USC and UCLA as Big Ten teams. But you know what? They are.
They are now.
Because if the SEC's taking credit for Oklahoma, okay,
Texas Longhorns,
and Texas,
okay,
who's only been in 2 years, and Texas is ranked as maybe the 1 or 2 best teams in the country.
They've had an entire 100-plus history of not being an SEC team.
Okay, but the SEC still has Vanderbilt and Arkansas.
Yep.
And bad Mississippi State teams ever since.
You're forgetting Kentucky.
Kentucky's not a football school. Okay. Missouri. Auburn sucks.
I don't think Mississippi has ever won a division.
Okay. There's a reason these teams always go 9-3. Because you play 4 non-conference teams. Then you got to find 3 weak sisters. If you're Tennessee, you play your 4 weak sisters, okay? And then you double back and have to play everybody on your side, which is Missouri and South Carolina and bad Florida. Then you cross over and play Vanderbilt and Arkansas. There's 10 wins right there. In your sleep, there's your 10 wins. And these SEC people go, Tennessee's got 10 wins.
What's the great Nick Saban doing now? Oh, yeah, doing TV.
Nick Saban got out because
Captain Khaki whooped his ass.
He did. But Nick is crying poor because Alabama doesn't have the NIL money like these other schools.
You're Alabama. Why do you need NIL money?
Okay. And as you mentioned, guys opting out of bowl games. And,
yeah.
Okay, and now with this NIL and contract money, I think schools, if you're listening, schools out there, I think before you award these people money, because it's a contract now, it's a business. You tell those people.
Yeah, you open that Pandora's box. You're not
opting out. You're playing. If you're not picking and choosing the games you want to play, I can't pick. When I worked, I can't pick and choose the days that I want to go to work. If you're getting a contract, you're going to play whatever games there are, and you're stuck with that. You can't opt out and go, I think I don't want to play this bowl game because I might get hurt. You know what? then there's a reduction of your salary.
But how many Division One? And I've raised this question to you before we came on air. How many? And you're never going to know because there's been so many who've done it. How many hand-picked Division One athletes have bailed on their team because I don't want to get a boo-boo in this bowl game that you need me to play?
Well, in the last 15 years, it's been.
Yeah, I know it's been a revolving door. Everyone has done it, but.
Well, you know what? It's only been a revolving door. It's been a revolving door because all the other bowl games don't mean anything.
But you've never seen anyone in the NFL ever do that, and that goes back to my point. The NCAA has always screamed, ranted, and raved about ethics and morality and doing the right thing and giving it the good old college try. But yet they have been the most hypocritical people to ever walk the face of the earth, and everybody knows it, but everyone's afraid to say it.
But the argument could that be, and I agree with you 100%. But the argument could be is. You are selected to play in the Pro Bowl, and people are backing out in that. And that's a joke game anyway.
But that's at the end of the Super Bowl.
Okay.
You want to fix that? There's a way how you fix the Pro Bowl. You play the whole season. You go through the offseason. You have the voting in the offseason. Then you play like a little flag football game, before training camp or whatever. That's what you do.
But if you're in college and you got 2 7-4 teams, okay, that are going to play in some, like, I don't know, the West Clock Computer Digital Clock Bowl or whatever the hell you want to call it, or what do I got there? I got the Clorox Bowl. I'm just looking at my laundry room. The Clorox Bowl, and you got 2 7-4 teams, you have
the Chewy.
And if it doesn't really matter who wins that game, but
and there's how many conferences? We looked this up.
10. And going back with that, I think Missouri 2 years ago, and this was another thing, Missouri was pumping their chest out. I believe 2 years ago, Missouri played Ohio State in a bowl game, and Ohio State's top 2 quarterbacks didn't play in that game, and I think their third-string quarterback didn't want to play because he was hurt. So they went with a fourth-string guy, basically like from off the street from intramurals. Okay.
You pulled him out of his frat house?
Yeah, and there were other stars on that Ohio State team that opted out. Missouri won the game, and the SEC people put their chest out. Missouri beat Ohio State, but.
You beat a practice squad Ohio State team.
You basically did.
Yeah, you did.
You did. Okay.
Yeah.
So, my thing is, if these universities are paying these people, first of all, they shouldn't get paid. They're getting paid. They're getting a free education.
Okay, now this is where I want to say it, because you and I have had this conversation, and I've said this before. I'm going to say it here, because I'm 23 years old. I've never attended University of Illinois or Minnesota or Rutgers, whatever it may be, but I have a lot of friends who go to college and stuff. But all of my friends and me, they've never had the handouts in the ways how the NIL guys are having.
No, first of all, in order to get a college scholarship, you had to score, I think, 18 or 21 on the ACT.
Well, you're already the big man on campus anyway. Correct. Why are you giving them another caveat that they don't need?
And people who are forced to get 27s, 28s, 29s, and 30s, and they come up a buck short, we don't want you, okay?
Because
you can't catch a ball, you can't dunk a ball, you're not throwing 100 miles an hour, whatever the case might be, okay? But you're letting in inferior students.
Or not even that. Some people don't even want to be there at all.
The University of Memphis.
Derrick Rose.
Well, and it's more recently. They just got waxed for having the softball girls take tests and giving the answers to the basketball players on Penny Hardaway's team. I just saw that.
Also, Derrick Rose never took his SAT.
Never took, yeah.
Never did.
So Memphis has got a sketchy past to begin with. So, And again, I think they're called student athletes first. Student appears before athlete.
And like, look, I get it. I'm aware of both sides of the argument but it's, no one was saying give these people millions of dollars. They were saying it's like, oh hey, you want to give them, a certain handout here or there. Okay, fine. You want to throw some money their way for textbooks and food here and there. Okay, yeah, fine. No one was ever saying pay them millions and millions of dollars.
I mean, it's to the point now. Again, and we're gonna wrap.
Caitlin Clark is gonna make. She made more money.
Yes, she did.
At Iowa.
Yes.
Than she ever will in the WNBA.
Ever. And
you can easily make the argument she's the most popular athlete in North America today.
Now each school, I'm going to leave you with this. Each school starting, it might even be this coming year. Each school in the Power 5 conferences, and there's 10 Division I football conferences, but in the Power 5, every school is going to have a budget of $25 million.
Why?
To pay their athletes as they see fit.
So the salary cap.
It's a salary.
So it's a salary cap.
But do you think the rowing team is going to get any of that money at Minnesota?
No.
Do you think the field hockey team at Northwestern, who has won back-to-back national championships, are going to see any of that money?
Is the Duke lacrosse team going to get that money?
No.
See, because here's my other thing. The NCAA, they care about two things. Football and basketball. They don't care about anything else. Who won the national title in basketball this year? It was Florida. It was the Florida Gators, was it not?
Yes.
Does anyone in the SEC care? Does anyone in Florida care? It's like, oh yeah, sure, that's nice. But if it wasn't the Florida Gators football team,
they're waiting for football.
They're waiting for football.
They're waiting for football.
That's all. Yeah, that's it.
Outside of the University of Florida, can anybody tell me the head coach's name at the University of Florida?
Without looking it up.
Without looking it up.
No, but
can you tell me that?
They talk about it's like doing the right thing and this they play because when I was a kid growing up, there were so many people who I knew personally and that you knew personally who just hated the concept of the NFL. They hated the concept of pro sports because they're just mercenaries getting paid, and everyone in the NCAA they're doing everything the right way. There's nothing wrong. Oh really? Then what about all the boosters at SMU who got all the coaches, who got all the players, and then when the minute that came out, all SMU, Southern Methodist University, hey, Eric Dickerson, where'd the gold Pontiac Trans Am show up? Do they not deserve their wins back?
Absolutely.
Do they not deserve their wins back?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They, the Michigan Banners, in the Fab Five, when they said the guy with the booster was giving Chris Webber all that money. Anything that has been involved in money scandals,
the Miami Hurricanes football team,
and any sanctions, now you go back, you erase the asterisks, and
because there's people in the NCAA who have done far, far worse than just paying people under the table here and there. They've done far worse than that. But, what does the NCAA care about that in the ways that they did about Southern Methodist University back in the 1980s? No. Do they care about the Michigan Fab Five in the 1990s? No.
If you thought that giving a kid $25 or $30 to get a pizza and go to the movies was a bad deal, you now have just open, and they go, well, they're really not paying. The NIL's they're not paying these kids. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, they are. Bill Belichick hired. He hired a guy to handle.
Did he hire it or was his girlfriend?
He hired a CEO to handle the monies that are going to be allocated to the football program.
I have no respect for Bill Belichick anymore. He's turned himself into a laughingstock.
Well, we'll see how he does with his schedule, and that's when I didn't look at what his schedule was. I should have. But we spent a little bit of time, and we could go on and on and on and on. But before we leave, the trade deadline is coming up. The Cubs did win They're a game and a half up as we speak on
Milwaukee.
July 18th. Milwaukee plays the Dodgers tonight. I never thought I'd say this, but I got to root for the Dodgers. Another evil empire. Cubs,
I hate them worse than the Yankees.
Cubs need pitching. Nobody's off the table. As I said before, the 5 guys that are out there are El Contreras of the Florida Marlins. They have another pitcher. Brad Keller is a big deal with Pittsburgh. Zach Gallen, and they have another guy. I can't think of his name. And the White Sox with Adrian Hauser is on the. Those are the 6 starters that could be out there. As we get closer to the 31st, some of those teams like Arizona, if Arizona goes on a hot streak between now and then, they might keep those people. They might not be sellers. They might be buyers, but the Cubs need to. I think the Cubs need to be buyers in some capacity. How about that Edgarana Suarez, the third baseman for Arizona?
They don't need a third baseman. They need pitching. And as I said before, to make a trade and you don't have Kyle Tucker extended, that just opens the doors to something you might regret in the near future. And there's another guy, speaking of extensions, and you said it when we were watching the game, Seiya Suzuki has never been mentioned once by anybody.
He's the next guy you got to re-sign.
He's the only real guy that you desperately need to.
You extended Happ, you extended Horner, you extended. They haven't extended Swanson. Horner.
They don't need to extend Swanson. They gave him a 7-year deal.
And if you're gonna go nutty on Tucker, but if you don't sign Tucker, you're going to need. Your guy, Owen Casey, you're going to need him in the outfield.
Yeah, you're going to. So, hey, Cubs fans, let's trade Owen Casey, but we're not going to have Kyle Tucker extended. I mean, come on.
Now, if they happen to trade Trianos and
Alcantara and Owen Casey, give them all away,
then maybe they're going to lean towards. But Tucker's stats right now. He's a long way from the 40-40 stuff that everybody was predicting he was going to do.
He's 28 years old. And last year, how many games did he miss last year?
I think he missed 6 weeks last year.
Oh, no wonder you got him on the cheap. You gave up a prospect. You gave up a third baseman who didn't really play a whole lot. And then you gave up a washed-up starting pitcher that you hardly used.
And if Suzuki has better offensive numbers than Kyle Tucker, and Kyle Tucker wants north of $400 million.
And you never would have been in the situation if you just extended Cody Bellinger.
If you just extended Cody Bellinger for a year or 2. Okay. Forget the 6 but he only got a 3-year deal with the Yankees.
So that begs the question, what did Chicago offer him? What did Jed Hoyer and Carter Hawkins and Tom Ricketts, what did the 3 of them offer?
Well, you tell me not to. You always tell me don't play the what-if game, but I'll throw the what-if game at you. What if they signed Bellinger and Rizzo on short-term 2-year deals at the time that all happened? You would not be any worse than you are now. And you had another year.
Don't get me wrong. As much as I love Rizzo with everything, because he's never been picked up, so there has to be something severely wrong with him.
Okay, and that's true. But 31st is the trade deadline, and they don't want to make any moves now early because they're hoping Tyon could come back a little bit. They hope Imanaga, he had a good outing the other night. Hopefully he's back in form, but they still need a 5th. Kate Horton gets knocked around a little bit. Colin Ray today went 5 innings, but he had 4 walks. And that's the other thing. I don't know what council's thinking. They gave up 1 run and they used 5 pitchers.
And I know you don't care much about the wins above replacement statistic, but as I said, 12 of the guys they've had on the mound were negative WAR pitchers. That means, translation, the guys that you have are not very good. So I don't understand the obsession of this Cubs bullpen has been so great.
If we were Brian Kenny, and he's if we were Brian Kenny and he had that stat, he would say that.
He would say that every day.
He would say that, and how could that bullpen be very efficient if they're under wins or above replacement?
Well, yeah, but that means you're piecemealing it together. You don't have Rod Beck. I said this watching the game. They don't have Rod Beck. They don't have Randy Myers. They don't have Lee Smith. They don't have Bruce Sutter. They don't have any really big, convincing relief pitcher or closing pitcher in their bullpen in the ways how people think that they do. They rely on home run hitting, and you have the statistic that
I'm still tallying. Yes, I think it's still 10 or 11. They have only won 11 games when they have not hit a home run. They hit a home run today.
They are an offensive feast and famine team relying on really 3 or 4 guys. That's it. Pete Crow Armstrong, Seiya Suzuki, Kyle Tucker, Michael Busch of hitting home runs. If they don't hit a home run, they're in trouble. And there's 10 weeks left of the season. There's 6 playoff spots. And you know what? Everyone's trying to talk me and him off a cliff here, saying, oh, well, what are you guys saying? The Chicago Cubs are in second place in the National League. It's not 1965 anymore where you finish first place out of just National and American League and you go play 4 games of a World Series. No. There's 30 teams, you being one of them, 4 playoff rounds. There's 6 playoff teams, and you're only 1.5 game up against Milwaukee, a very good Milwaukee Brewers team, mind you. And there's no guarantee you're going to be one of those 6 playoff teams. And if you're not, and you said it, and I hate to...
And that's how I was gonna end the show.
If they don't make at least one of those 6 playoff spots, that's worse than 1969.
It's worse than 1969. It certainly is.
And
It would be an epic failure.
Say, why are you saying this? The Cubs are third in home run hitting. They're third in stolen bases. There's 2 in the National League. They're 18, 19 games up in 500?
Yeah, if they're 1 in every damn offensive category...
Why are they only 1.5 games up in their division lead?
That's a great question, and we'll end it right there, because I don't want you going off, and we're 7 minutes over where we normally do, but... We'll put this is airing today on July 18th. Hopefully you've been following us on a regular basis. Okay? I got one more time. I like doing this. Aurelio's Pizza.
It's good pizza.
It is. It's the sauce.
The thin crust. That's the best pizza I think I've ever had.
Keep an eye on us and find the traction, okay? So until next time, hey, sports.